Hello and welcome everyone. I hope you all are fit and fine. Students, in the previous class, I explained you about government company and its feature. Today we will begin with a new topic, which is merits and demerits of government company. Let us begin with the merits now. See the first point. The first point is administrative autonomy. Administrative autonomy. This is the merit. See, students, administrative autonomy means what? It is very simple. The work of the administration, okay, the activity which the government company performs, right? So they have the autonomy. In that autonomy means what? That they are free from the external interference. External interference means there is no political interference, okay, there is no political interference, okay, there is no interference from outside, there is no external interference. They are free to perform the activities as per their own policies, okay, there is no external or no political interference, right? So that is the autonomy which they enjoy, okay. Now the next is greater flexibility. Means, students, greater flexibility, here flexibility means what? Adaptive to change. Means greater flexibility, as I told you, that they enjoy the autonomy, means they are free to carry out their objectives, or they are free to carry out their activities of the company, and there is no external interference, okay, there is no external interference, so they are free to carry out the activities in their own way, okay. So greater flexibility means what, student? Greater flexibility means there is freedom of operation. They are free, there is no interference of like political interference, there is no other external interference, okay. So they can easily, or they can easily run their company, or they can easily manage the activities, they can easily manage the operations of their company in their own way, in a flexible way, right? So that is greater flexibility. Now the next is efficient staff. Now government company, there is also an advantage that government company leads to what? Efficient work. How? See students, the government companies have their own rules and regulations, okay. Means, as we have studied here, that efficient staff, in the features you see, recruitment and remuneration of employees of government company is independently decided by the government company itself. They are not civil service rules. Students, it means that the recruitment process, okay, recruiting of employees and giving them remuneration, means giving them the salary, wages, whatever it is, okay. So recruitment process and the remuneration of the employees is decided by whom? Means both these processes are done by whom? Government company itself. Means the company makes its own rules and regulations regarding it, okay. So if they make its own rules and regulations, okay, so definitely they will have the efficient staff, okay. So they have their own rules and regulations of recruiting the employees, so they will appoint professionals, or they will appoint specialized people who have complete knowledge of their subject, okay, who have complete knowledge of their field. So that is the efficient staff, so there is an advantage of this. Now the next is collaboration. Now students, collaboration means what? Collaboration means, generally, collaboration means collaborating with another company, okay, collaboration or joining hands with other company, okay, working together, okay, that type. So collaboration says that the government company, okay, the government company can collaborate with the private enterprises, okay. So government, we are talking about government company, okay. So government company, for some cases, okay, if for example, if the government company wants if they want to appoint some expertise of the, or they want to appoint some specialized person, okay, so they can have collaboration with some private companies, okay, who will provide them the professional workers, okay. So in this way they can have the collaboration with the other enterprises also, okay, private enterprises also, okay. So that is the advantages of government company. Now let us move to the next topic, which is demerits. Now what is the disadvantage of government company? See the first point, autonomy on paper only. Now students, one question, like there will be one question in your mind, that the same point is in the merits also, and it is like reversed in the demerits. Like in merits it is said that they have the autonomy, means they enjoy the freedom. But in the demerits it is said that the autonomy, okay, the power of freedom is on paper only. It means that student, as you know that this is a government company, okay, this is a government company, so they cannot enjoy full freedom, right? As it is the advantage that they enjoy some freedom, okay, but they do not enjoy complete freedom, okay. There are some or the other interference of the government, there are some or the other political interference, okay. Political interferences are there, okay. So autonomy is just on the paper, means to show the people, to show the employees, it is said that the government company enjoys the freedom, but the government company does not enjoy full freedom, okay. In some or the other case they always face the interference of the, like, political parties or the government, right? So always there is an interference, external interference is there, okay. So this is the political interference. As I told you that the government companies are what? The government companies are the companies which is under some ministers, like for example the railway, that is the government, their public sector, it comes under public sector, it is under whom? The railway ministry, okay, it is under railway ministry. So under railway ministry, the railway ministry is managed by whom? The ministers, okay. So in a way there is always the political interference in the company, okay. So whatever the operations are carried out in the government companies, okay, so those operations or those activities are many time, okay, many time they are what? Interfered by the ministers, okay. So whatever the activities which are carried out in the government company, all the activities are generally what? Generally the political interference is present in all those activities, okay. So this is the demerit. Now the next is board packed with yes ma'am. Now students, the board packed with yes ma'am means, yes man, it means that the board packed with the government representatives. Students, as you know that, as I told you here, that here the all the employees, okay, they are appointed through their own company's rule, okay. They do not follow the civil service rule, they have their own rules for appointing the employees, okay. So what actually these board packed with yes man, board means we are talking about board of directors, okay. So government companies like will be having some board of directors, okay, board of directors. Now board of directors are the directors who always tries to please the government. That is why it is said that board is packed with yes man. Yes man means those person who actually work in the favor of the political party or who work in the favor of the government, okay. So they always try to please, they always try to do some buttering, or they always try to please the government or the political party, okay. Rather than improving their own company, rather than improving their own performances, they try to please the political or the government party, and by pleasing them they carry out or they push off their work, right? So this is what the demerit is all about, right? So here we have completed government company, okay. Now here we have seen the government company meaning and government company's meaning and its features, and plus merits and demerits also, okay. So students, now we will move to the next topic, that is changing role of public sector. Till now students, we have studied different forms of public sector units, okay. As we have like we have seen about departmental undertaking, statutory corporation and the government company. So all the three forms of public sector enterprises we have already seen till now. Now we will move to the next topic, which is changing role of public sector. Students, if you remember, then in the first class of the third chapter, okay, I explained you about the power of private enterprises versus the power of public enterprises. In that you very well understood what were the roles of public sector and the private sector after the independence, okay, and how their role got shifted. Now changing role of public sector, how the role of the public sector changed, how the importance of public sector changed. Just have a look. Public sector in India was created to achieve two objectives. Okay, why public sector was created? As you know, there are two sectors, okay, private sector as well as public sector. So public sector in India was created for two objectives. What was the main objective, or what was the main purpose for creating public sector? To speed up the economic growth of the country, to achieve more equitable distribution of income and wealth among different sections of society. Now, we will study one by one. Economic growth of the country. So that time it was believed that public sector unit will perform very well and they will grow their business, and in a way there will be economic development in the society. Okay, the economy will develop. So for that reason, public sector was given much importance. Okay, now the next is to achieve more equitable distribution of income and wealth among different sections of society. Now students, after the independence, as you know, the India was very poor, okay, by that time. So at that time what happens, it was very necessary, it was very important to develop all the sections of society. Okay, there were different sections of society, the lower section, the middle section, and the upper class. Okay, different sections of society. It was very important to develop all the sections of the society. Okay, so they felt that through public sector, through development of the public sector, if public sector will develop, if the infrastructures of the public sector will develop, then definitely in economy of country will develop. And when economy of country will develop, then there will be equitable, means equal distribution of income and wealth will be there among all the sections of society, means all the sections of the society will be given equal opportunities, okay, to develop themselves. Okay, so because of this reason, the public sector was given much importance. Okay, now see the line. The role and importance of public sector in the society has been changing with time. Okay, so as you all know that the public sector, the role of public sector is continuously changing with time. Its role in the development of the country over a period of time can be summarized as following. Now let us understand what are the roles of the public sector. Okay, the first is development of infrastructure. Okay, infrastructure means your buildings, your hospitals, institutions. Okay, so development of infrastructure. Let us study the explanation first. At the time of independence, okay, we are talking about the role of public sector, how the public sector role is changing from time to time, that we are studying here. Okay, so the first point is development of infrastructure. Read the explanation, students. At the time of independence, India suffered from acute shortage of heavy industries such as transport, communication, electricity generation. Okay, this is electricity generation together. Electricity generation, iron and steel, oil refineries, heavy engineering. Okay, because of huge investment requirement and long gestation period, private sector was not willing to enter these areas. The duty of development of basic infrastructure was assigned to public sector, which it discharged quite effectively, efficiently. Now students, changing role of public sector, I told you that after independence much importance was given to which sector? Public sector. Okay, so after independence, as you know that there was acute shortage of heavy industries, means the industries like transportation industries, communication industries, electricity generation industries, iron and steel industry. There was shortage of these kind of infrastructures. Okay, so there was like India or our country was in need of development of that of infrastructure. So it was needed to develop the infrastructure for the economic growth. Okay, and the government believed that the public sector can do it. Okay, they believe that the public sector can do it. Now why the private sector do not, like why the private sector didn't entered into this? Because it requires huge fund and the private sector do not have that much funds with them. That is why they did not entered into all the construction of all these infrastructures, right? So this was the work of public sector. So public sector started to grow and they started to develop different infrastructure. Okay, now the next is a regional balance. We are talking about various regions. Students, regional balance means in India there are various regions, right? So there should be balance in region. You will understand this. First read the explanation. Earlier, private sector was hesitant to establish industries in backward or remote areas due to lack of infrastructure to provide employment to the people and to accurate the economic development of backward areas. Many new industries were set up by government in these areas. Now students, as I told you that the private sector unit, okay, the private sectors were not entering into this. Why? Because they were not having sufficient fund, because for development of the infrastructures, okay, for building the factories, they require huge amount of investment. Okay, it requires huge amount of investment. Okay, so they do not have that much fund. Okay, so in that case, who did this? Public sector unit. Okay, now regional balance says that private sector was hesitant to establish industries, means private sector were hesitant, they were not agreeing to establish the industries in the backward areas or in the remote areas or in the rural areas. And why? Because of lack of infrastructure, because they do not have sufficient infrastructure, plus they do not have funds with them. Okay, they do not have sufficient money with them. So that is the main reason why the private sector did not do anything. Okay, now here the new industries were developed by whom? The government companies. Okay, they were set up by whom? The government company, means the public sector unit. Okay, so regional balance means what, student? You know that we have like urban area, then semi urban area is there, rural area. So all these areas need to be developed equally. It does not mean that the government should only focus on developing the urban areas. Okay, so the government should equally should focus on development of urban area also, as well as the rural areas or the remote areas also. That is the regional balance. Okay, there should be balance of development, okay, of urban areas as well as the rural or remote areas. Okay, so that time the development was done basically by whom? By the public sector units, right? Now the next point says that economies of scales. Now students, whenever you will hear this term economies of scale, okay, economies of scale, you will come across this term again and again. Okay, so let me explain you the meaning of it. Economies of scale, see the explanation. In certain industries like electric power plants, natural gas, petroleum, etc., huge capital and large base are required to function economically. Such area were taken up by public sector. Now students, economies of scales means what? Generally when large production is done. Okay, large production is done. Okay, this I'll explain you in a very simple way. Students, see, if like one factory, let's suppose there is factory A and there is factory B. Okay, so they have to produce 100 units. Okay, 100 units, whatever the production is of anything, they have to produce total 100 units. B also has to produce 100 units. Okay, now what they will use for producing 100 unit, what they require? They require raw material, they require finance, they require labors. Okay, so they require machineries for every, like they require everything. So these things are required by B also. Okay, so for producing 100 unit they require all these resources. Okay, B, for producing all these units they require these resources. So in that case what will happen, student? Economies of scale says that whenever the production is very high, the cost is very low. For example, like for A, if they have to produce 100 unit, then also they require all these four things. And let's suppose if the B wants to produce not 100, let's say 1000. Okay, then also they require four, what, four elements of production. They require raw material, they require finance, they require machinery, they require labor also. तो यहाँ पे ये कहा जाता है स्टूडेंट कि जनरली जब हम ज़्यादा प्रोडक्शन करते हैं तो हमारा कॉस्ट कम इनकर होता है. यहाँ पे हम 100 का प्रोडक्शन कर रहे हैं लेकिन हमें उतना ही रॉ मटेरियल लग रहा है, उतने ही लेबर लग रहे हैं, मशीनरी भी उतनी ही यूटिलाइज हो रही है, सब कुछ उतना ही यूटिलाइज हो रहा है, लेकिन हमारा प्रोडक्शन क्या है? कम है. तो इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल हमें ये बताता है कि whenever we do large production, then our cost will definitely reduce. Okay, हम 100 के पीछे इतने सारे एलिमेंट्स लगा रहे हैं, रॉ मटेरियल, लेबर, मशीनरी यूज़ हो रहे हैं, फाइनेंस यूज़ हो रहा है, एंड हम 1000 के पीछे भी उतने ही एलिमेंट्स लगा रहे हैं. ओके, सो इट सेज दैट लार्ज, जब भी हम यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, 100 के पीछे हमें इतना ज़्यादा कॉस्ट इनकर करना पड़ रहा है, लेकिन जब भी हम लार्ज प्रोडक्शन करते हैं, ओके, तो हमारा कॉस्ट मीन्स जो हमारा लेबर कॉस्ट लग रहा है, रॉ मटेरियल लग रहा है, वो जनरली कम होता है. ओके, सो इट इज़ सेड दैट इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल इज़ देयर. Okay, so in certain industries like electric power, these are big industry, okay, power plants, petroleum industries, they require huge capital. Okay, they require huge capital and large base are required to function economically, means for production they require huge capital for carrying out the operations. Okay, so in that way such area were taken up by public sector. So private sector could not enter in this because large production should be there, cost will increase. Okay, so when the large production is there, in order to bring economies of scale means अपने cost को reduce करने के लिए, अगर large production हो रहा है तो definitely उसका cost reduce होगा. Okay, so for that reason what generally is done, large production is carried out, and for large production they require huge capital, and the private sector could not afford this fund. So that is why the public sector took the initiative to do what? Took the initiative to establish these industries, right? Now the next is restricting economics concentration. It's very simple. Only it is few, okay, it is FEW, few. Only few industrial houses in private sector had invested at large, resulting in concentration of capital in few hands. As a result, monopoly increased and leads to inequality of income. To stop such practices, industries were established in public sector so that large scale division of income and money among workers and laborers is done. Now restricting economics concentration means what, student? Only few industrial houses in private sector had invested in large scale, means only few private sector were there who actually invested their money and built and were establishing large scale mean big enterprises like big companies or big industries. Okay, so in this way what happened, if few private companies are there, then all the money will be in the hands of whom? With the help, will be in the hands of only those few private enterprises. Okay, other will not enjoy anything. So that is why, to bring the equality in the economy, okay, to bring the equality of the income in the economy, generally the to stop such practices, industries were established in public sector. So public sector was given much importance to bring this equality. Otherwise what will happen? Otherwise all the capital or all the money will go into the hands of private industries or private factories, which were very few. So only few people will enjoy this and the other will suffer. Okay, only few people will enjoy the income, only few people will enjoy the profit and the other will suffer. So that is why they have chosen public sector over the private sector. Now the next is import substitution. Okay, importing means to import the goods from other countries to our nation. Firstly, see the explanation. Firstly, public enterprises were established in production of capital equipment which were earlier imported from other countries. Okay, firstly means previously, like very, like it's after the independence. Okay, so after the independence the public sectors were established. Okay, the public sectors were public enterprises were established in the production of capital equipment. Okay, generally they were generally producing only capital equipment like your machineries, your tools, equipment, that type of thing. Okay, which were earlier imported from other country. Okay, which was actually imported from other country because previously, before the independence, the India was not so developed, so they imported all these materials from the other country. Okay, and several enterprises were also established to promote export of goods. Okay, and some of the enterprises were there who were exporting the goods from our country to the other countries, right? It increased the foreign currency reserves a lot. Very important role was assigned to public sector, but its performance was far from satisfactory, which forced government to do rethinking on public enterprise. Now student, as I told you that import and export was going on. Now import substitution means whatever we imported, that was substituted. How that was substituted? We started to develop, or we started to establish the industries in our country itself, and we started to manufacture the materials or manufacture the goods which we used to import अर्लियर. ओके, मतलब पहले जो इम्पोर्ट किया करते थे अब उसको इम्पोर्ट नहीं करते, उसकी जगह पे हम अपनी कंट्री में ही फैक्ट्री को एस्टैब्लिश करके वो गुड्स अब बनाने लगे हैं. सो दैट इज इम्पोर्ट सब्सटीट्यूशन. बट इट इज़ ऑल्सो सेट दैट एट द एंड, ओके, एट द एंड द performance was far from satisfactory. Far from satisfactory means the public sector was not performing so well in all these cases, okay, which forced government to do rethinking on public enterprises, which forced government to rethink that what work should be given to the public sector enterprise, which field should be given to the public sector enterprise in which they should work, because they were not performing that good which was expected. Okay, so these were the changing roles of the public sector. Means we can see that, student, in all these cases we see that the public sector was given much importance. Okay, private sector was not considered so much, okay, because the public sector worked for the public welfare, for the people's interest. They develop the infrastructure, they work for the regional balance, okay, and plus the restricting economics concentration, economies of scale is there, import substitution. So in all these cases public sector were given much importance that time. But slowly the government felt that the public sector is not working so good, so they start to rethink on public enterprises what to do next. Okay, so this part we will continue in the next class. That's it for today. We'll continue the leftover topic in our next class. Till then, thank you.